Most of our engineers are from University of Rwandan. They come and go through a little bit of training, but they're able to produce. We're trying to show that it's possible to do it in Africa.
We are originally African, and that already means that this is a business that is built, or a technology that is built and sold by Africans as well.
But that was the first thing that was done here. The governance is behind the technology.
We're just showing the community what these machines are capable of.
Almost a decade ago, a team of Rwandan engineers stepped into a highly contemporary tech space, mainly dominated by nations outside of Africa: drones.
It started obviously as the idea of just young guys interested in flying object, but quickly we started realizing that what value can we add in terms of all the industry we're involved in. And we found that obviously drones are just a tool.
A tool that could be enhanced into a powerful source of information technology.
People are interested in what you can do with the data. Because data, even though you can collect a lot of data with the drone, the processing behind it to turn that data into intelligent information, we found that we are a company that really removes the complexity that comes with the digitalization of our physical world. We make it simple so that anyone, engineers, decision maker, can use this intelligent data and being able to provide or make decisions based on intelligent data. We have a big team behind that process data for various organizations.
Charis UAS's journey of market discovery led them to become a drone service provider with several clients.
We've worked where we have developed platforms where you can go in there and get all your data. If you are monitoring a construction project, you can just go as a client, you go in there and log in. You have a login, you can see the state of your construction easily without having to deal with a lot of data. So data that are available anywhere, anytime, and at the tip of your finger. So that is where we are really, we've developed a lot of software around that.
Once the company took off as a leading intelligence service provider, new hiccups followed.
We've had a lot of experiences where we'll fly drones and then we had to send them out of the country for maintenance sometime, and that will create a lot of downtime from our side.
The high downtime and added logistical costs pushed the young engineers to start Charis Labs.
Charis Labs is the company that actually manufactures the drone, the new drone. So we are doing manufacturing, design and manufacturing of drones in Rwanda. It's also coming on the back of the other company, Charis UAS, which is service-based, still on drones. And so a lot of momentum built with that company is now translating into Charis Labs as well.
Building upon Charis UAS, the need to cover gaps in the market led to the creation of the Rwandan drone, Ikanji.
Our drone Inganji is a very peculiar one, and one coming up with the concept was based on the experience that we had with different drones. And one of it was mostly the major challenge on multi-rotors is the flight time. So we had to come up with a concept where of course, that involves coming up with the design, having lightweight materials. For example, we have on our drone Inganji, we use carbon fiber, which is a very strong and reliable material, yet quite light, right? And very, very much efficient, and which can last longer in terms of flight time. And we've tested it and we've found it to fly more than 1 hour, which is something that most multi-rotor drones cannot do.
Not only does Ikanji boast a longer battery life, but is custom designed to suit the hilly terrain of Rwanda.
Now, this design was also made based on the topography here in the country, right? Because as you can see here, Rwanda is a country of 1,000 hills, a lot of hills, and most fixed-wing drones, they need a lot of space for landing and takeoff, and this is not something you can find everywhere. To make the takeoff and landing much more easy. So what it does, it takes off as a multi-rotor, and when it reaches a certain altitude that is set, it transitions it into a fixed wing. And these type of designs are very much efficient. They can fly longer, like this one can fly up to 2.5 hours, you know, and with a long range. And then when it's done filming or doing whatever it's doing, it comes back and then transitions back into multi-rotor and then lands at a space which can be 4x4 feet. You know, so it's very much efficient in terms of usage.
Installed with cameras and sensors, the drone has multiple uses.
And these sensors, what they use, maybe for someone who's wondering what that is, they're able to collect data, and then when you put those data together, these will inform the farmers. For example, where there is lack of water, lack of nutrients, and then he can take action and go and take an action. Important, it's like an informative tool to the farmer, right? And then we also have thermal cameras. For example, if you're maybe anti-poaching, services, maybe people doing some illegal transaction over the night, so these can easily detect heat, body temperature, even at night, so these can be used as well in terms of carrying out inspection of solar panels. So there's quite a lot of application using these sensors, right? So
with commercially compatible software and durable hardware, the next natural step for the company seems expansion.
We've operated now in multiple countries in Africa. Those I could recall are Ivory Coast, Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, Congo, Brazzaville and Congo DRC, and Gabon. Lately also going to Zimbabwe and the rest of Southern Africa. So we've seen that most people now, there is an adoption and understanding of the value that the technology can bring.
The next step would definitely be getting our products out. Of course, we've already started launching out outside in Africa. We'll definitely look into even countries outside the continent. So we'll really look at promoting these products and having more people, buy them. See how reliable they are. So yeah, that's really what we're looking at.
Another young tech entrepreneur found gaps in the African market and is currently on his way to fill them.
It was mainly an inspiration that came from the fact that I noticed there were kind of empty properties in Rwanda, Kigali in particular. And then there was also so many people who reached out to me to look for a place to stay while they were coming to visit Rwanda. So I became curious as to why they were reaching out when the other platforms do exist already. So I realized that there was a gap in the payment system that the other platforms offer, as well as access to those platforms as well.
An alternative to Airbnb, Bongalo stands out with its unique payment features.
We have a payment system that is very much different from what Airbnb does, so we invested into creating a whole booking system specifically for the African continent and implementing a payment system that does really work for Africa, which is the mobile wallet payment, collecting money from hosts and disbursing money to guests, from guests and disbursing money to hosts as well through the same system of mobile money.
The way they're trying to fill the gap that Airbnb currently has, for one, Airbnb doesn't really focus on Africa as a main priority, and they're trying to do that by filling gaps, especially in the local payment method, mobile money.
Bongalo is a site which is common on Africa, so it helps us to publish and show the Africans people there's a good place to list in Kigali, in Rwanda.
I think at the moment we have about 1,000 listings on our platform across Cameroon, Rwanda. We see a few listings coming up in Kenya, even though we haven't announced there, as well as Morocco. I saw a few in Morocco as well. And so there are so many countries who are just, interested in putting up their properties on our platform, even though we haven't announced it. So this is also announcing the need that people realize that they need something like this, also locally African, aside the big companies.
We was used to hear about Bongalo, that site, and then the Bongalo come here and introduce itself for us. and would like to work with them because we want to market our business, our apartment. Almost 3 months we start Bongalo. So the movement was too short because we are new. But right now, it's like 15% of the customer were saved from Bongalo. There's some trust that we will receive more customers from Bongalos.
I interact a lot with users, and a lot of them are impressed with the progress that we've made so far, especially our host, because they use Airbnb and they see the way we're trying to fill the gap that Airbnb is currently has. So a lot of them are impressed with what we've done so far, and they're also looking to grow with us.
I think to me it's more of the ease of use for the app, and payment was just so easy. Okay, so for someone who lives in another country coming here, I think it was about the quality of the accommodation. That I don't know whether the app goes through kind of a verification process to look at the property to see that it's really good, because it was very clean. And I loved the decor, like really, really nice, you know, like it was a very fresh experience for me.
So it's such a beautiful place, 2-bedroom, nice living room. It's got like there's a whole long corridor right here.
So far, Bongalo has been able to maintain quality among its stays by giving each of them close attention.
We actually see the places before it gets listed on our platform. However, upon scaling, we realized that that's not super feasible. So we just implemented a system where we can pre-verify the properties before they get approved on the platform. So if a host puts a property on the platform now, we take time, we check different data points to see if this is really something that is legit, and it's also the images that meet the standard and stuff like that before we pre-approve it to run on the platform. So those are things we're putting in place. But I can promise you that in the near future, each country where we are present, we can have like a representative who would definitely at some point do random checks on some of the properties that we are not super sure about.
While Bongalo's popularity is picking fast, it is not without its own struggles.
Most often, when you start a business in Africa, it's not like you have a particular amount of money that you take somewhere and then you start with. So you just start something literally just small. Or initially for us, I think our initial startup capital was something below $5,000, which was really pocket money, or rather my personal funds that I assembled, and then I paid a few people here and there to do a couple of things, because our business wasn't capital intensive from the beginning. So I had to just pay some services like graphics and website development, that I had some guys do some work with me. So I can say it was under $5,000 that we started with at the time. So initially, we just had our first very bold sponsorship came from Google, which was through the Black Founders Fund. We got an investment of about $100,000 in cash, and then we got investments with credit for using arts credit, as well as cloud credits that we use to host our resources on the Google Cloud platform. So for cash flow, we still really burning money because we are still at the building stage. We can't consider us really scaling just yet. We're building, but then we want to scale our operations to different countries. So we're making very less money at the moment, but then we're just validating our different aspects, and we're trying to make sure that at least every month we have some money coming in. So we're still running negative at the time, and that's not really anything bad. It's just that we're trying to rectify a couple things, and then we can hit very hard on the market.
Not just looking at the profit aspect or anything, but they really want to help Africa as a continent to have that name that it should. They want to help hosts to earn sources of income. They want to get people into the African continent and into the African market. And I feel like that's really that's the experience that they're really offering. And I feel like it's really going to help them to grow. And I can't wait for us to get to more countries in Africa. I see the impact that they want to make.
I'm really recommending to anybody and everybody who can listen to me, because of how easy it is to use. Yeah.
I would like to request for the African people to visit Bongalo or other sites to know more places in Africa.
Founded in 2016, AC Group, a homegrown tech firm, set out to transform Rwanda's public mobility sector.
So it was a mix of two key stakeholders. So there's the commuter and the bus operator. Both of them had gaps. From a perspective of the commuter, was they never knew what their fare would be that day. So planning was difficult for them. Fares would go up. If it rained in the evening, peak hours had different times. So this way you kind of have a static fee fare. So you can, if I'm a commuter, I can plan, my finances better for the month, my commutes, my daily movements around the city and across the country. And from the perspective of the bus operator, there was a problem of visibility. They relied heavily on what we call conductors. So they're the ones who receive the fare from the commuter at the time.
To improve transparency, AC Group introduced a cutting-edge service called Tap and Go.
Tap and Go, the name is in the actual motion of what you're doing. You're literally taking a card and you're tapping it and you go. That transaction I just described would take anywhere between a minute to 5. You have to take cash and you have to ask how much am I paying for this trip, look for change, wait for change, and now it's seconds. You literally just tap your card and keep moving.
Despite having a cost attached, Tap and Go has been a welcome change among users.
And it's capped at 5% of the fare. So it is packaged within what the passenger pays. Now you know exactly what you're paying, as opposed to you wake up in the morning and you have no idea how much you're going to pay for transport that day. Yeah, so it was welcomed. I don't remember the actual number, but today we have issued out more than 2 million cards to individuals, and active cards, that is each card that taps a bus validator, is anywhere between 1 million to 1.5 every month. Yeah, so that's a huge number for 7 years. That's almost a third of our population.
A never-before platform, Tap and Go has improved the possibility of more business among bus operators.
Yes, we added transparency as one of the key value additions from our technology across all stakeholders, be it policymakers, be it the commuters, be it the bus operators, and it has opened doors for more services. So, for instance, now bankers or financiers find it easier to finance people in this sector because they have much more clear data, visibility on what the risks would be and how to mitigate them.
As the company has evolved, so has its focus point, with new plans for the commuter.
In the past, we've been focused more on the bus operator. So when we designed the product, we had the bus operator in mind way more than the commuter. Today, with 2 million cards out there, the commuter is starting to become a key focus for us. So we need now more visibility for the commuter than we've offered in the past. Things like ability to monitor your transactions on your card, since the card plays as a wallet, ability to move money between one card to another, withdraw it, be able to pay for other services. So we're building an app around all that. An app. The thing that is inseparable in today's world from a human being is starting to become the phone. So any service that you can put on the phone and can be paid by your wallet that you already have on the phone is a service that can be offered to anyone. So it's easy to sell technology in Rwanda because the community has already appreciated its use.
With technology becoming central to the way of life in Rwanda, tech incubators in the country are shaping the latest talent to meet its growing demands. One of them, Fab Lab,
Fab Lab Rwanda is an innovation space or lab where entrepreneurs with ideas, they come, then we help them to have viable products, to have real products. I mean, from ideation to prototypes.
Our main objectives to create innovators, entrepreneurs.
The good part of Fab Lab is that it receives anyone from any part of studies. You can be in science, you can be in anywhere. Just if you like it, you can just join the lab.
Along with running mentor programs, Fab Lab, an international non-profit tech incubator, also offers several trainings at the center.
Fab Academy is a variety of courses. So there is programming, there is engineering, there is mostly in terms of manufacturing. There is molding and casting, there is electronics, there is embedded programming, there is documentation, so because you have to document your project. So there is website development, because you have to develop your website before you start a course. So there's a lot of things you learn through that, which makes you this person who can always help people in different industries.
In line with Rwanda's vision, Fab Lab is focused on driving the nation's manufacturing revolution.
So manufacturing is so critical because, as the government mission is to have our own products, not depending on the international market. So we have to work together as a whole, Rwandan, mostly from the young people. The government has helped us to get this lab and also to get the capacity building from the top universities worldwide, where we get a Fab Academy course where we learn to make almost anything. And what we need is like keeping innovative ideas here and giving them a value, and mostly checking the most needed part or the most challenging projects in our community.
We teach, we give skills to the future makers of Rwandas.
What makes Fab Lab as any other factory is that it has a variety of equipment. They're in the same, in different rooms, but they do complement each other. And mostly these machines, they are not limited to any design, any shape, or any material. They can be limited to your skills or your ideas.
With no limitations, Fab Lab has mentored several innovations under its roof.
Since 2016, when Fab Lab started, we have more than 100 entrepreneurs that came up. Someone can come up with an idea, he doesn't know how to develop it, how to implement it, yet we have people here who have the knowledge and the capability to help those industries.
You have these machines here. It's very easy to develop one product and it's ready for the market. You don't have to pass through other procedures. We don't have to focus on doing new products, just do existing one and do mass production. One part is okay, so as we reduce the imports to our country.
One of Fab Lab's most proud products, a face shield, helped the nation during an emergency.
In COVID-19, and the borders were closed, and no shipment was coming and no shipment was going out. And then as a Fab Lab, we had an opportunity of seeing what other people are doing in other countries. And then the market was ready because we used the national standards and everything was cut here using the local materials. Nothing was bought outside. We started making them, and then we got, I think, a good feedback. And then NGOs were sponsoring through us, like JICA sponsored Rwanda through Fab Lab, and then we gave the government a gift of 5,000 at least to help the community.
Among other products is the IC chips line at Fab Lab, being used to make smart light home systems, along with a hydroponic technique to grow cow fodder in only 7 days, and a home lighting solar system for the most disconnected population in the nation.
Other kind of business or companies which supply this kind of solar-based energy, but I decided this because they ask a lot of stuff like they ask there is the paper which shows that you are the owner of the land or the house, so which make it complicated for those people to have access to this energy. So by thinking of this project, Light My Home, I thought of bringing this simple project so that people in the village who doesn't have the real access to the energy can have the access, and this is kind of cheap.
By driving cost-effective solutions through technology, the front runners of Rwanda's tech space are taking control of their nation's market.
One biggest part is the market is still there. The market is still open. You just have to tap in, and with the other use, then we bring everything on the table together.